The new Nissan Micra electric car, it's going to be quite a bit bigger than the previous Nissan Micra. It's actually a really nice looking car. I am a fan of it. So how much does it cost? What's the range? And when is it actually available? Well, let's get into those details. Hello, my friends. Welcome to the channel. I'm Sam Evans. You're watching the Electric Viking. We've nearly done 7,000 videos now. So guys, I want to say thank you for supporting the channel. If you'd like to support us by becoming a YouTube member, that would be awesome. I'll put a link in the description below. The Nissan Micra. It is basically a rebadged, reskinned version of the Renault 5. So the Renault 5 actually the Renault 5 E-Tech, let's just call it the Renault 5, it won European Car of the Year. So it's a pretty cool car. And I think this new Nissan Micra EV doesn't quite look as good, but it is a nice looking car and hopefully it's going to be a winner for Nissan. Now the question is, should you consider buying one? I personally would not, and I'll explain why at the end of the video. However, I would consider buying the Renault version of this car. Now the Micra EV is built on this CMF BEV platform, which is called the AMP-R Small. Anyway, it's essentially a Renault 5 with a different body shell and Nissan badges on it. It's a compact car. It's just under 4 meters long. So it's smaller, probably about 10% smaller than a Toyota Corolla. BYD Dolphin, smaller than that as well. Under the hood, it gets two battery options. You get a 40 kilowatt hour battery in the cheapest version, a 52 kilowatt hour battery in the more expensive version. The bigger battery pack, the 52 kilowatt hour battery pack, provides it with 250 miles of range. That's approximately 400 kilometers. It also weighs around 1,500 kilograms. Now, speaking of power, the base model with the 40 kilowatt hour battery gets a 94 horsepower motor. I would say that's a bit underpowered. Yeah, anyhow, if you get the bigger battery, you can get a 122 horsepower motor. Still not much power for an electric car, to be honest. But this does still accelerate pretty quickly. It can do 0 to 100 kilometers an hour, which is 0 to 62 miles an hour, in about 8 seconds. So, I mean, that's fast enough, really. Let's be real. Now, there is a hotted up version of this car if you buy the Alpine version, the Renault Alpine version, that has 218 horsepower, which is kind of still not that much considering electric cars these days just have crazy amounts of power. Nissan plans to launch the Micra EV in Europe by the end of this year, with production taking place at Renault's Electricity facilities in northern France. So this is not a made-in-China car. This is a made-in-France car, which means it's not going to be particularly cheap. Starting price will be around 25,000 euros. That's 27,000 US dollars. To give you some context, the bigger BYD Dolphin is a fair bit bigger. That is around, here in Australia, that's about 19 to 20,000 US dollars. So it's about 7,000 to 8,000 US dollars cheaper for a bigger car. So you can see here how and why companies like BYD and other brands, other electric car brands, are taking this section of the market. And while it will be difficult still for Nissan to sell these cars at this price, they're still a bit too highly priced, I think. I think if you price them around 20,000 US dollars, it'd do quite well. But as I said, it's made in France, and therefore production is going to be quite a bit more expensive than being made in China. The Micra EV will compete with obviously it's going to compete with the Renault 5, the Volkswagen ID2, Fiat Panda, and I mean, I like the car. I really do. I just think it's a little bit too pricey. The Nissan Micra EV, this is what Nissan said anyway, is a significant step forward in Nissan's commitment to electrification. Now, guys, why would I not buy one of these? It's not really the price. I mean, it's not expensive. For me, it's more about the fact that it's got a Nissan badge on it. And I honestly don't think Nissan has a future unless they get someone to bail them out. They have admitted as much themselves. They don't have the ability to pay their own debts. That's why their debt is rated at junk. I can't believe still that I still get people criticizing me for saying that Nissan is in trouble, because they are. Their debt is rated at junk by every major ratings agency in the world. And they're hoping that Tesla will bail them out, which is extremely unlikely. Obviously, the deal with Honda appears to be off. So that, for me, that's the reason why I'd rule this out. The Renault version, though, I really like the Renault version, and I think there's a lot less chance of Renault disappearing than there is of Nissan. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Right after I completed this video, news reports around the world are saying Nissan stock price is suddenly up by about 15%, which is a shock for Nissan considering the fact that they were just downgraded by another ratings agency to junk. Why would their stock just go right up when another ratings agency says, don't touch these guys? They're about to go, good chance they're going to be bankrupt very soon. The reason is this. People are speculating. There's news reports saying Tesla could buy Nissan. Seriously, I mean, it's all over the German media. It's in the US media. Particularly, it's in the Japanese media, though. Apparently, this is where the sources are coming from people in Japan, executives apparently in Japan, saying that there are talks between Nissan and Tesla. Now, I think this is all made up, but here's the full story. Another financial credit rating company has downgraded Nissan's debt to junk status. This comes after Nissan basically declined Honda's attempt to take over the company and save it from bankruptcy, which I believe was a critical error. And analysts are now saying that it's going to be very, very difficult for Nissan to come back from this position. Hello, my friends. Welcome to the channel. I'm Sam Evans. You're watching The Electric Viking. Great to have you with us. If you want to become a member of the channel, you get access to some videos that are not seen on the normal channel. I'll put a link in the description. Nissan, they've got a lot of debt. They need to get more finance for that debt. So if anyone's willing to give them some money, to loan them some money, obviously the interest rate they'll be paying will be higher. Now, when your debt is rated a junk, that's the result. You've got to pay a high interest rate. In addition to that, Nissan already have a bond payment. I believe it's $7.8 billion that they have to repay. Company executives have privately expressed concern at maybe not being able to pay that amount of money. Nissan is doing all kinds of things to raise money. They're doing things that I think are a critical error. For example, they're offering 10-year warranties to old Nissan car owners. Basically, if you've got an old Nissan car, we'll give you a 10-year warranty. Bring it in, get it serviced by us for the next few years, and you'll qualify for your warranty. So Nissan's willing to do anything to raise funds. This is a pretty risky scenario, right? You're saying to someone who's got a car that's, say, 2 years old, as long as you start servicing it with us, we'll give you a 10-year warranty. But what does that mean down the road? I mean, internal combustion cars don't last 10 years in many cases. They wear out. We've seen the data. We've seen the numbers. Guys, I've done videos on the actual data on how long they last for. Literally, they're lasting for, on average, 160,000 miles, internal combustion cars. You can do more than that in 10 years easily.